Hey, Programming 11, got another advanced animation technique for you. This is a simple example of it, but showing sort of going between two different pictures, like having either a blinking effect or just kind of going back and forth between two different images could be an interesting technique for you to try out. So basically, we're flipping back and forth between two pictures over and over again. I'll show you the code that I'm using. So first of all, I have a variable called counter. And counter is just going to be a number that's going to count up and keep track of how many frames have gone by. Our sketch is a square window, and I'm going to start counter at 0. So what happens every frame is that I increase counter by 1. So it's just keeping track of how many frames have gone by, right? After the first frame has gone by, counter is going to be 1. After the second frame, it'll be 2, and so on. So we'll just count. And here's my if statements. Check it out. Look, I got the ellipses inside the if statements. It's a pretty interesting way to do things. So you could say, hey, as long as the counter is under 50, then we're going to draw a black ellipse, right? Fill black. Here's our ellipse. And then we have another if statement that says, hey, if counter is greater than 50, we're going to draw a white ellipse. Yeah, makes sense? So that's why we get the different colors going on. Counter starts at 0, so it's going to be this one that's going to draw, and this one's not going to draw because counter isn't greater than 50. But eventually it will be. So once it gets to 50, this one turns on and the other one turns off. But what brings it back to the beginning again? Well, we just check to see if it ever equals 100. And notice the double equal sign here. If you're asking a question, is counter equal to 100? Then you use the two equal signs. If you're setting a variable to a value, if you're assigning a value, you only use one equal sign. So watch out for that. So hey, if we get to 100, I just send it back to 0 again to start that loop all over. So we get a nice kind of blinking effect going on. There's a couple of ways you can do this. You can make something kind of appear and disappear. So I don't even have to have this white ellipse here. I don't even have to have that second if statement. I could just make a thing kind of. Oh, I guess I have to have background in if I want things to disappear. Back 200, we'll say. So now we can have a thing kind of blinking on and off, which is a pretty nice technique. Maybe this is a stoplight. Maybe this is I don't know, some kind of alarm that's going off. And we can also change the speed at which this blinks too. If you change these numbers up, what if I made this 10, 10, and 20, for example? Then we're going to get this like blinking a lot faster, which could be an interesting thing. And you can even turn those into variables if you wanted to, like change the speed at which the blinking happens, and make that change during the course of the program. And you can go pretty wild with it. I don't know if we should, but you could kind of experiment and greater than 2 and then 4 with just how fast you could make it go, and have some fun with that. Oh, I'm not sure. I think I messed something up. My logic there didn't quite pan out. I'm not sure. I have to think of that. Oh, there we go. Whoa, it's going crazy. So you can kind of experiment with the blinking. You could even put additional like I guess we won't worry about that too much. You could, for example, animate a fire this way. You could have some like red triangles kind of pointing this way and some red triangles pointing that way, and alternate between the two. And you could kind of create the look of a campfire, or any kind of simple animation that's just like going back and forth between two simple images. A person dancing, if you drew a stick man this way and a stick man that way and went back and forth between two, you could create the illusion of some kind of funny looking dance or something like that too. So this sort of alternating between two different states, this is a great use of if statements where you can kind of control, do I draw this shape or do I draw that shape? And you can use a variable like counter to just keep track of how long time has gone on for, and change things accordingly. I'm going to stick it back to the original because I thought that one was nicest. Although I don't know, it's just whatever you use it for is, I guess, all that matters really. Okay, so that's an example of either making things blink or just alternate between two different shapes, two different pictures. And I hope that is clear and something that you can make use of too. Okay, thanks, Programming 11.